One of our favorite things to do in the Halo games is definitely to find new and secret areas that are maybe outside of the map that weren't originally intended for players to access. And while we've done this in various Halo games over the years, Halo 3 has always been a special Halo to us just because the world building and atmosphere always looked so interesting that we always wanted to just go and see more as to what is possibly out there. And with the MCC update, when Halo 3 got its overhaul and got some new updates to Forge mode that allowed for phased objects, it became incredibly easy to glitch outside of maps and access secret rooms and hidden areas in the multiplayer side of things that were never originally intended to be accessed. So what could we discover and what new areas that we've never seen before were we able to find with access to this new glitch? Let's go ahead and take a look. Now, before we start, if you're wondering why my microphone might sound a little bit scuffed, well, as it turns out, when I was traveling, I believe maybe one of the TSA agents was looking at the little x-ray machine and they thought that my microphone or whatever looked really sus. So of course they had to search my entire bag, and I think in the process they lost the cord? I don't know. I just don't have the cord for my microphone anymore. So my makeshift solution was to get my phone and a pillow and try to muffle the echo as best as I could. It's kind of the most intricate setup that we've ever done, but hey, you know what? I'm pretty sure if you're hearing this, it sounds crystal clear because Luke obviously was able to fix any issues in post. Right, Luke? Yeah. Now, back in the day, there were a lot of different ways to pull out little glitches that would let you get access to either a secret room or just get outside of a regular barrier. A lot of the times we would use a machine gun turret or a vehicle and try to clip it against a wall. And then if you flipped into Forge mode or you got out of the vehicle, you could sometimes clip through some surfaces. It was really cool to find access to little areas along the way. But when they updated Forge mode and gave us access to the phasable teleporters, just so much became available because the second you're holding a teleporter and you flip it over to phase, for whatever reason, you enter a no clip mode just like the teleporter itself. So if you put the teleporter through a wall, you can just go right through the wall and bam, you're on the other side. So while there are a lot of hard barriers that just kill you the second you get outside the map, sometimes little areas are accessible and it's really unique to see what you can discover when you're going through these different types of glitches just to see what you have access to. For instance, on Avalanche, I always thought it was interesting looking through these windows, and as it turns out, with this Forge glitch, you can go through these windows and put a platform down and just walk around and kind of look around. It's really interesting just to see how far down this area goes, and just the fact that there's these giant Forerunner looking things that are now a couple of inches closer and not only visible through a glass window that you can look at, and just little stuff like this is so interesting to us. Another interesting thing is on Citadel, which apparently is the same structure as Epitaph, though we still question how that would completely work. If you look down the windows on the floor, it kind of looks like this big drop-off type area. There's even glitches that some players have done where they can just clip through it normally. But with this Forge glitch, it's now incredibly easy to use. You can just drop down there and walk around, though there's some really weird invisible barrier stuff going on where sometimes you're just floating halfway down. Other times there's an invisible wall that you can kind of leap over, or sometimes you just get really confused and you have no idea what you're looking at. But nonetheless, this one is interesting just because it is so much lower than the actual multiplayer map, and it's just unique that we can go down this far, considering a lot of the times once you break outside of the main structure of the map, it kind of just kills you instantly. So hey, look, you can now just sit in this dark abyss and think about what you did glitching out. Now, Foundry, going out in this little alleyway just outside the building, always was a cool glitch and an area that's been used forever. But one thing I like is that this little fenced off area that's inside of the structure, you can now go down. There's a weird invisible wall here, but hey, we can just sit in a little jail cell we created for ourselves. Rat's Nest was another map that had areas that were easily accessible already using various glitches, like you could go up into this upper office room or lookout window. I don't know what to call it, but it was a cool room that you could access with the turret glitch. Now it's easier to do before, and even before, of course, there was the mongoose glitch. You could clip through the fence here, but also with the teleporter glitch, you can jump outside of some of these windows and just kind of of peer in from a new perspective, which is also something that's a little bit weird to do. And on Orbital, one of the levels that definitely was the most difficult to break out of back in the day, because seriously, the kill barriers are so aggressive on this level for whatever reason. If you do the teleporter glitch now, you can actually stand outside completely free in space for, you know, a couple of seconds before the map just insta-kills you. I don't know, this one's a little interesting just because every 3 or 4 seconds of you having freedom to look around however you choose to, the map just decides to insta-kill you and execute you for whatever reason. But hey, we finally broke out of Orbital and we're happy about that. Over on the level Blackout, this one has this little office space that's all the way up here that you normally can't access at all. And oddly enough, this room is incredibly difficult to get into even with the glitch. You can make it where you can look around the room in Forge mode, which is better than what we could do before, just because of how far out of the map it is and how strongly, whatever reason, they don't want you getting into this room. Though it is cool that we now get a glimpse inside this random office space and we can take a look around. Also, if we shift over to the level The Pit, there's a ton of little areas along the way that used to be really challenging to pull off some glitches to get into the space, just because the kill barriers were so aggressive. But now this glitch does make it a bit easier to just phase through and really explore the skeleton of the pit, which is always cool, whether you're just looking in the outside area just along the fence line, or you're going up into the upper reaches of the level to see what's going on up there. There also was the new map recently added into the Master Chief Collection, Waterfall, and interestingly enough, the first place I wanted to try to get to when I was just looking at the map for the first time was that pelican. And sure enough, with this glitch, despite the kill barriers that are all over the place, you can get over to the pelican. And while there's really not much to it, it was kind of cool to walk around and see this little side of the map that we didn't expect we would be able to see before. And the pelican that's there is a little bit odd, actually. I tried to fly away on it and it didn't quite work. And even when the pelican wasn't there, we still felt like we could feel the structure that was there blocking us from walking to where the pelican would be. So that was actually a really unique thing about this map. Then we decided to go over to Longshore, and while in the past we've talked on this channel about some of the secret rooms of Longshore, we were trying to see if maybe with this glitch we could find something brand new. We didn't have too much luck, except this little ventilation type room that kind of also serves as a miniature jail cell. I don't know, for whatever reason, when Luke was trying to do some stuff and access new areas, the game just kept putting him back in that jail cell, and it was kind of hilarious and also kind of frustrating for him. But I thought it was hilarious, so there's that. And then we decided we would jump onto Heretic, and while we were pretty sure Heretic would be one of those space levels that would insta-kill us the second we got out there, while you can't actually access the outside area with your Spartan, or at least not that we're aware of, with this glitch, you do have a few moments when you do the glitch where you can look around in Forge mode, and we did get a pretty cool view of some of the stuff going on in space. So if you're ever bored, definitely load this one up in Forge mode and just take a look, because it is really cool, the attention to detail that Bungie put, and I don't know, it just looked pretty cool. So next we decided to head over to Sandtrap to see if we could discover the mystery of the glyphs. Now that we, you know, could glitch through stuff, we tried to see if there was any secret bunker that we had never noticed before, and this is what happened. We died. Nothing. There was nothing to find. Then we jumped over to Valhalla, and oddly enough, we remembered back in the day there were a lot of Forge maps people had made where they tried to explore outside of the map with some teleporter glitches. And while it is a lot easier to set up the teleporters on the outskirts of the map and get them up in those cliffside sections, typically you can only stand around for a few seconds or just stand very carefully and very still. You might not die. Sometimes we had some hilarious moments happen with the teleporter where I would die in the process of going through the teleporter, but my body made it, and that was interesting enough. On high ground, we explored the upper areas of the cliff, which interestingly enough, this one was really easy to get the glitch to work, where we were able to use the teleporters, get up around on top, walk around in different areas, though it does seem to have a very short, soft kill barrier, kind of like the countdown system in Reach, except it's maybe a only 3 seconds. So you get 3 seconds to look around, and while this map might be reminiscent of Minecraft or something, that's not a lot of time to really pick out what you want to look at. Though we did look at the lake a little bit, and that was cool. Over on Ghost Town, we remember doing a lot of parkour maps that would sometimes go into the outer boundaries of this level. And while we could use the glitch to get on top of the center building, which was cool, one thing that was really interesting was this middle room. It looks like an abandoned server room, and actually you can't typically get into this room in a regular multiplayer game. So with the glitch, we were able to set up teleporters inside of this room and sure enough, explore the room a little bit. And this was actually one of the biggest inaccessible areas out of all of the multiplayer maps that we found that was like a fully detailed room, just because it's used for a general aesthetic in both sides of the entranceways for that building. So it was actually kind of a cool area to get to walk around and look at, even if it was just a small jail cell in another form. And then on last resort, we actually used this glitch to access an area that we already have accessed in videos before, but this time we were to go one level deeper and get into the fenced in area inside of the fenced in area. So that was kind of cool, but pretty pointless otherwise. Just like a little jail cell area that you can walk back and forth in and think about your actions. But hey, it's somewhere else you can go that maybe you didn't know you could go before. Then if we go over to Narrows, up in the snowy section on the cliff, we actually found that there's this little area you can just stand around and hang out. Not too much you can actually do up here, but hey, you get a nice scenic view and you're kind of out of the mess of all the action. So there's something. But this is just one of the many videos we've done where we explore the kind of secret rooms or secret areas from all of the Halo games. So if you've liked this video, make sure you are subscribed with notifications on for more videos like this. Also, check out our Discord. There's a link in the description, and find some other Halo players to play Halo and break out of some maps on and find some cool stuff along the way. That's it for today though. We'll see you all next time with a brand new video.